have been tracking this space closely since the last couple of years, and what we have seen, and I have some numbers to back that up, is that the entire digital transformation within retail, which we had predicted will take at least 3 years, is what we have seen happen in a short period of 6 months itself, right? And we'll pick on some of the aspects that are driving the digital transformation as we go ahead. But as retail, as you are all aware, is not like a one homogeneous sector. It is across. It is made up of different small formats, different verticals, and each vertical had a different effect when it comes to the COVID-19 effect on it. Right? Grocery, pharmacy are some of the sectors that did extremely well, while some of the non-discretionary spends, sorry, like clothing, footwear, was the ones which suffered a lot. And every sector had unique problems on their own. Right? Some had stockouts in their aisles; they didn't have enough product to sell. Others are sitting on inventory which they haven't been able to clear for a long time going ahead. Right. So each sector has had a different challenges. But what does it mean for the sector as a whole? You can go to the next slide. So as I was mentioning, what we had predicted maybe last couple of years back was that the digital spend in retail will be a linear growth, growing around 25% a year, from 6 billion to 12 billion to 25 billion in 2023. But nobody knew what was in store was in 2020. So what happened in 2020? The next slide, please. So what the numbers that we had predicted for 2023 is what we are estimating has already been spent in the last year itself, in 2020 itself. So what it has almost doubled from what we had expected, from 12 billion to 25 billion. And what we believe are there are like 10 key factors that have driven this spend in 2020 itself. And I'll come to each one of them in the next slide. So we have divided these factors into three different areas. One is the in-store operations. Second is around the entire supply chain, inventory and logistics. And third is around the entire new customer experience that has been driven by these particular companies. So if I come to the first one, I mean, the scan, bag, go and automated checkout. For over 40 years, the process of checkout at the retail stores has more or less remained the same. Minor tweaks and POS devices aside, not a lot had happened in this particular area. However, as IoT has grown, the sensor technology has grown, new form of checkouts, just scan, bag, go or scan and pay apps have come up. And no better example than Amazon Go, or no popular example than Amazon Go, who has implemented that in their stores a couple of years. There are other companies like Kroger and Ahold also, who have had some of the fairly successful implementations in this particular area, and they have really helped them in dealing with the situation that we had last year. Secondly, when it comes to contactless payments, the need for convenience and safety has increased the focus on enabling contactless payments in the last year. And it is also the key to the entire automated checkout journey that everybody wants to achieve right now. And Walmart was one of the first players who proactively started this journey in 2015 itself, and launched their own solution called Walmart Pay. An interesting fact to know is now there are more subscribers who have the Walmart mobile pay app than, let's say, Google Pay, Amazon Pay, and Samsung Pay in US. So it is a more popular payment app than these three, if we consider in terms of number of subscribers that they have. And Costco has also had some new initiatives that they have taken during the pandemic to implement and scale up their contactless payments as well. Third, again, this is not a new thing. This is probably one of the earliest places where innovation had started within the entire retail journey in terms of using robotics and using automation in the warehouse side. And Amazon acquired Kiva Systems in 2012, and that is where shelf scanning robots came into place. But now their applications have gone to beyond just in-store inventory, and now they are doing a lot more things. They are helping in properly counting, recording, and communicating inconsistencies, predicting the volumes that would be required going ahead. Again, Walmart and Ochan are some of the key early adopters who had implemented this in their warehouses as well. Next, when it comes to omni-channel inventory management, omni-channel is a term we have been hearing for a long time, mostly on the consumer experience side. But since we saw an accelerated push towards online channels as well, towards e-commerce channels as well, retailers had to build a very omni-channel inventory management system, which could deal with online sales, offline sales, or new models that came up like BOPIS, like buy online and purchase, pick up in stores. Those become common. So having a omni-channel inventory management that is capable of dealing with the sudden changes that are happening was very much important. And additionally, it has also resulted, the pandemic also resulted in unpredictable demands in certain products, right? And demand has been disproportionate. Some have gone out of stock, some have been in inventory for a long time. And hence, having an omni-channel inventory management solution has become really, really important. Target was one of the few players who had invested in it early and which already had a BOPIS model in place, which again really helped them scale up during the pandemic as well. Next, when it comes to inventory and logistics, we are you seeing stores as a fulfillment center, a new way being used by retailers to deal with the huge inventories of stores that they have, that they have not been able to use very effectively in the last year or so. And they had to shut down a number of physical stores because of lack of customers that are working in. But now they're trying to use that stores as last mile delivery services or last mile fulfillment services. And Amazon has made a big commitment of close to like $170 of taking up a former mall site in Cleveland and saying that we will give it a completely new lease of life by building it into an online fulfillment center or a warehouse kind of. Secondly, autonomous last mile delivery. Again, this has become really important now with people experimenting with drones and other last mile delivery models, robots and autonomous robots. And consumers are now okay to pay for a little extra if they can get the particular delivery within a day or even next day delivery. Amazon has made that possible, and everybody's now okay to pay a little bit extra, be it an Amazon Prime or any other way for that particular delivery, which is driving a lot of innovations also. Especially for essentials like groceries is where this model was really put to test in the last year or so. But last mile is expensive, and human drivers are usually the primary cost dealing with the last mile delivery, and hence this entire space is expected to explode going forward, where the autonomous robots, autonomous vehicles will take up the job of last mile delivery from the fulfillment centers. Again, companies like Amazon, Alphabet, JD.com have made significant investments that already. Then coming to the last part of that particular segment in driving the customer experience, again, augmented virtual trials. This has also been in the POC stage for a long time, but what we have seen is now it has started gaining acceptance as we go ahead. And one area where it has really seen traction in the last couple of years is in the entire furniture buying space. IKEA was one of the pioneers to do that. Macy's is trying to also use, along with Maxent, a lot of furniture driven by VR, where you can see how it looks in your room and that particular thing. And since now less and less customers are coming to the stores, this is again something which is now gaining traction going ahead. Secondly, a big part of in-store experience always has been assisted shopping and service, that somebody can help you and guide you on your purchases and ensure that you get what you want. And that is a factor which has been missing in the entire online shift that has happened. Companies are trying to solve this problem by again having some models where you have either virtual assistants or you have actual people who are assisting you in your entire online journey as well. And they are using some of their underutilized workforce, which was in store for this particular purpose also. But this also needs a lot of technology investments to ensure that it is a seamless assistance that they're making. There are a lot of startups that are working on this. Some like a Hero, which is a startup which is working with Levi's, Nike, and Chloe, etc., in having personnel who will assist the consumers in their entire online buying processes as well. Social commerce and retail, again, this is a very fledgling kind of a spend right now, but this is something which we are already seeing explode. Instagram, shopping through Instagram and Facebook is now becoming big channels for a lot of the direct to customer brands that are there around. And also going ahead, we expect that this will be a big channel going ahead. Secondly, the move to marketplaces has increased, the last point, and really, I mean, there is no better example like Shopify and Etsy to accentuate this particular trend. Shopify has seen its trend double. I mean, its revenue nearly double in Q2 from what they had earlier. Similar trends have been seen by Etsy as well, where they're helping people build online storefronts and online marketplaces. Last slide that I have is just to say the 25 billion number that you saw. How does that spend look like? So we believe out of the 25 billion, more than 50% is what will go in the entire cloud and AI ML space. Voice is also we are counting as part of AI ML. AI ML, big data, cloud, everything will be like driving most of the spends, driven by the spends in IoT, AR, VR, blockchain, and a lot of security spends that are going up as people care up. And some of the, I mean, even read some of the applications that are there in cloud. We are expecting digital coupons, digital signages, digital wallets to drive that particular trend. AI ML, again, voice assistant, virtual assistant, voice search, visual search, virtual trials is what we're expecting to drive that particular demand. When it comes to big data, a lot of inventory planning, pricing and demand analytics, customer insight generation is what we are expecting will drive some of the use case. IoT, again, has been there for a long time. How do we drive more self-checkout, cashless stores is what is going to be important. And then AR, VR, I already spoke about visual trials, and blockchain right now is prevalent only in the supply chain side of things, but we're expecting it will be prevalent elsewhere also going ahead. So that is what I had, a quick 5 to 10 minutes view on what we see where the sector is going. Hope you all found it useful, and looking forward to the panel discussion that follows and the keynote from Vishwa as well.